Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law. As always, I'm your host, Uncivil Law, a licensed attorney in Texas, Virginia, and before the U.S. Supreme Court, and I hope you're having a great day. For today's stream, we have a guest. You know him as the Glarer. I know him as a strange guy who I'd like to know a little bit more about. So we're going to try to get to know who is the Glarer. Why the Glarer? Why does he have a wrestling name? What is his wrestling intro song? This is really important information. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I didn't realize I had a wrestling name though. Right.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
no, it definitely got some WWE vibes for me.
I
Or
love
maybe
it.
or maybe not full the show, maybe more like a regional, semi-professional kind of feeling.
I will take it as a compliment, sir.
What
Absolutely.
is your entry song?
My entry song?
Yeah, you know when if they bring the wrestler in from the locker room, they bring them into the octagon or the fighting cage or whatever it is in your particular style. You know, they play some sort of music. So what music are they playing for you as you're walking from the locker room, you know, doing your whole like bug dance that we, you know, are so famous for seeing?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a really good question. Probably
I want to go with Frontier Psychiatrist as my choice if I'm ever a wrestler.
Frontier Psychiatrist, and that is done by who?
By the Avalanches. He's nuts. He's crazy in the coconut. What that mean? That boy needs therapy.
Okay.
Sheet.
Yeah, no. I'm not aware of that one. I'm sorry.
Great one.
Right on. I don't know. Probably I don't even know the title, but it's by a band called Idols.
Okay.
But yeah, that would probably be my song. But I'm not even sure what the title of it is. So
can you sing a few bars for us?
Oh God, no. No.
Do it. Sing the song. Do it.
No. I can't even remember how it goes actually. I just remember playing it at one point and thinking like, yeah, man. So if I was a fighter, I would fucking come out to that music. You know what I mean? But I can't even remember.
I know you're a fan of Rocky, just so long as you don't do something trite like Eye of the Tiger, man. I mean, you gotta work better for that, man.
Yeah. You gotta be more creative than that. Have better, yeah.
I didn't want to punch you in the face before. If you do go with Eye of the Tiger, I do now.
It's
so trite.
As much of a Stallone fan as I am, he's got terrible taste in music. Like if you think about the music that he picks for his movies,
yeah. I went to Clemson University, which of course is the Tigers, and so I heard "Eye of the Tiger" so many times. At this point, it's like, you know, Pavlovian response, and I just want to kill things.
I hear you. What's up, man? How you been?
My alarm app is reminding me it's whatever time of day it is. No, I've been good. I've been good. Happy. I've been trying to do some edited videos, working on scripting and stuff like that, trying to get my style down. Been going to the gym more. I went to the gym a little bit today. I ran a little short in time, but you know, I did 3 exercises, which is better than none. I did some hack squats. So, you know, that's if you want 3 exercises a hack squat, you're doing okay. So that's all right.
Yeah, no, that's good. Oh, this is my sound better. I think my sound is better now. Somebody in the chat was saying something about it, so I got my mic worked out, fixed, I think. Hack squats, always good, sir. Always good. I like hack squats. And I like them because when I do hack squats, I like to finish off my set with like calf raises on the hack
I did calf raises today. Well, not on calf raise. I did it on a standing calf raise machine, but yeah.
Yeah, if you have a standing calf raise machine, even better. But my gym doesn't have that, so I just kind of make do with the hack squat. Not now, of course, since I'm a gimp, but you know.
Really, tell me more about your gimp lifestyle.
Do
you go full leather mask?
No. Gimp is in I can't walk. So
I don't think that's what a gimp is.
Well, according to the Pulp Fiction movie, that's not what a gimp is, but you know, middle schoolers, a gimp is somebody who can't walk.
Properly. I think we know about your secret. I think we're learning more about why you're called the Glarer. It's your gimp name.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it's all good. So I read that in some of the stuff learning about you that you started your channel podcast, at least initially, with depression to try to deal with depression. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. I'm open about my depression and
So am
anxiety.
I. I talk about it a fair amount. I have major depressive disorder, so I was trying to something I deal with. I talk about a lot on my channel.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I'm not ashamed of, and you know, deal with very publicly. But at the same time, it's definitely not what my channel's about. My channel, I just started talking about true crime mostly just because I think what triggered that for me was I had a friend who was murdered, really good friend of mine, and I didn't really understand why that happened. And I guess I was trying to understand it a little bit better, and I started my channel. But I mean, my channel name is related, but it's not something that I really focus a lot on. I the Glare is an acronym technically, started off that way, and
What does it stand for?
there's technically 3 A's. I just don't use all 3 A's when I spell it.
Okay.
But it's gratitude, logic, awareness, acceptance, accountability, rationality, empathy, and resilience. And those are just keywords that I focus on to help manage my depression and anxiety. These things, if I focus on those things, typically they work pretty well. If I focus on those things, it helps manage my shit a little bit better, you know.
I mostly focus on anger, rage, envy, resentment.
Best of luck to you. Yeah, I stopped focusing on those things, and my life has improved vastly since. So
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering, says Yoda,
yes, very much so.
or
Yes,
something.
yeah. I'm not a. I've seen the Star Wars movies, but I haven't really like. I'm not one of those Star Wars fans that everybody tends to be, you know. But I like Star Wars. You know, it's okay.
I like the original Star Wars. My hot take is I think A New Hope is better than Empire Strikes Back. That's my hot take.
I strongly disagree, but okay. But yeah, in my opinion, the Empire Strikes Back is probably the best one because the bad guys win. It's like one of the first popular movies where the bad guy wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Lucas went and fucked it all up with all that special edition bullshit.
Yeah.
But then you can get it's called the despecialized version, I think, off the web, where people have gone through on the various different versions that have been released and try to basically cut them together to remove all the special effects. It's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Star Wars how it's supposed to be in the first place.
Okay. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, there you go. Obviously, it's great. Yeah, I mean, depression. I've been dealing with depression a long time. I think loneliness is a major factor, which makes sense because humans are a social animal, and the fact that I feel isolated and alone, and the social media can only do so much. So I think that's a major factor. But I try to get out of my house at least sometimes and try to do something to make myself feel a little bit better. And the exercising seems to help a little bit, but
Exercise.
I need a wife. That's what I need in my life.
Exercise is the last thing I need in my life is a wife. But the exercise is easily the most productive thing that I engaged in to help manage my anxiety and depression.
You look good.
For sure. Well, not right now. I mean, I've been so lazy.
You look a lot better than me do. I weigh 320 pounds, man. I'm fat.
Oh, man. I busted my knee a while back, and so I haven't been able to exercise the way that I like to. But so it's kind of a bummer.
Just do all that upper body stuff, man.
Yeah. I should just, I think I
do your barbell presses and your overhead presses and your barbell curls and all that stuff, and call it and little rope exercises. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just making excuses. I should just order some weights, and instead of feeling sorry for myself, just order some weights. And
you want to use set of 50-pound adjustable dumbbells from Bowflex. I've got them sitting in a closet that I never use.
So you said uh you're exercising to manage your depression a little bit better, right?
Yeah,
How long have you are you consistent with your exercise?
not as much as I should be. I have I have a pattern where like I'll do it pretty solid for some period of time, somewhere between like 1 and 6 months at the outset. And then
Yeah.
for whatever reason I stopped doing it, and then I stopped doing it for like 6 months. So I have a hard time maintaining any gains because it's like 3 months on and then I don't do it for 3 months. And like so this has been a pattern. So recently I've been in it, just for like maybe a month or something. So far so good, but it's like how do you prevent that pattern from stopping is a whole challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned something about needing a wife. That sounds absurd to me.
Women are soft and they're curvy.
Yeah, but you don't have to marry them. You know what I mean? Who says you got to marry them? That's crazy.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
like
know.
I like soft and curvy myself. I like the ladies. I just I like also doing whatever the fuck I want. I like that. That's fun, always and convenient. So yeah.
Very good. And so I understand also that when you go out and about, you are getting recognized.
Only in Boston.
Only
Only
in
in Boston.
Boston.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen where
Were
I
you on
live.
a magazine cover at one point?
Just recently, apparently I was on the cover of Vanity Fair.
That's a pretty good get.
Yeah.
You don't have that framed on your wall, man? If you're on the cover, I frame that shit.
People act like it's actually Alan Jackson, but if you look closely, it's my face. So,
I
I
put
don't
a
like
sign.
to
I put that on
brag.
my back wall. Maybe a sign. This is me. Pointing to it. I don't know.
No, I just I've been lately, I got to do one of you actually, but lately I've been paying a little bit of tribute to some of my favorite people on YouTube and refacing my face onto their face and putting it on Twitter. It's just for fun because I love my YouTube community very much so.
I took his face off.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be doing an uncivil law one
Oh
very
dear,
soon.
that's disturbing. I don't see any good coming from that for either one of us, to be honest.
It doesn't matter. I I don't care about good things coming from the things I do so much.
Okay, we're not trying to make the world a better place. Noted. Okay,
Right.
so how do you balance your channel with whatever it is you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
The channel.
That's it. Yeah, I'm on full-time channel too.
Yeah.
Is it bringing enough income? It pays my bills. I got that going for me.
Yeah. And luckily I keep my overhead really, really low. I'm not a very materialistic guy. So I don't need a lot of stuff. Mostly like most of the income that I made from covering the Karen Reed case went towards going to Boston and supporting my supporters in person. And
I
supporting
bought a new
Karen Reed
watch.
in person and supporting Turtle Boy in person. So
Yeah. No, I do buy some things sometimes to try and make me happy. It never seems to do it, but at least this one is speaking my language, so I got that going for me. And I wear a watch all the time. I've been wearing a watch 24/7 basically since I've been in 5th grade. I don't take it off to sleep or shower or anything. I'm hardcore.
right on. Yeah. Just buy a new one. You're a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I recently took on a case and I recently earned $1,600. I'm like, well, that paid for the watch, so I got that going for me.
Right on, man. Right on. So what type of attorney are you? What do you specialize in?
I do civil law. I prefer appeals, but right now I'm working on a case from the ground up relating to suing some police and other people relating to property the police took during a search warrant, but then didn't give back when the case was
Ooh.
over.
Yeah, that's not
They
okay at
transferred
all.
it to the possession, well, at least some of it. I don't know for sure, but they transferred some of it, if not all of it, to the guy who claimed to own it, who has now had sold or otherwise disposed of some, if not all of it. And there was never any hearing or adjudication about who was the lawful owner. So I'm like, well, it was in my client's possession. You guys were supposed to secure it. And then when the case is over, you give him the property back. And then, if the other guy still thinks he owns it, he can sue him or there can be a hearing or something. And that never happened. So basically, I'm suing everyone in sight, including the guy, for basically every version of civil theft I can dream up. And then just to have fun, I'm suing the police as well as the private guy under 42 USC 1983 as being state actors, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me. It's funny. Ken Mello, the special prosecutor originally signed to Turtle Boy's case. I could be mistaken because it's been a long time, but I remember we pulled up Ken Mello's. He has been reprimanded by the bar, and I think one of the things he got reprimanded by the bar for was something similar, that he didn't return property or files. I think it was files. He got fired by a client, and then the client was like, okay, well, I need all my shit so that I can represent myself or give it to my next lawyer.
Right.
And he never gave it back. And so like the client, I think, sued Ken Mello for his own materials.
Yeah, that's a big problem. The file belongs to the client.
Yeah. You represent the client, right? I mean,
right. So
yeah.
the file belongs to the client,
right.
including the notes by the attorney and representation to the client.
Yeah.
So that all belongs to them. So if the client's like, I want a copy of my file, I'm like, okay.
Right.
In fact, that happened because for the criminal case, obviously my client was represented by another attorney. So I was like, I want a copy of the file. So what do? I have my client, sign a letter that I had drafted, basically saying, give me the file and turn it over to this guy. And sure enough, the attorney sent me an email with a Dropbox, like, here's all this stuff. I'm like, great, thanks. Excellent.
There you go.
So now I have the file because I asked and got my client's signature. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you been following Turtle Boy's case closely?
Not super duper closely. I've been following it a little bit more recently since the Karen Reed stuff is over. And it's interesting on a technical legal level because you get into this as applied First Amendment challenge as opposed to challenging it on its face. Like the statute's valid on its face, but in an as applied, you're like, the statute's not valid as to me. And so that's obviously very fact specific, as you would sort of infer. So I haven't really seen anything yet in the case that doesn't make me think that he's protected by First Amendment principles. So I think, based on what I understand thus far, the cases against him are pretty bullshit. And so that is what my present view on the case is, given what I understand to be the truth of the situation.
Yeah, I could send you, if you don't have them, I could send you his original charges, the original charging documents, and I actually went over them live. It took me quite a few live streams to do it. I think it was like 5, and then I went over each charge, and they even add like video titles and timestamps for when they're saying this is what he did. And then you go and you watch them, and they're completely taken out of context, at the very least, if not flat out lies. It's fascinating. And to think that he's still going through what he's going through right now is just very, very disturbing if you're someone who believes in the First Amendment as strongly as I do anyway.
I believe in the First Amendment. I think it's great. They don't seem to believe in it. I believe in all the amendments. I believe in First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth. In fact, more the point, I took an oath as an attorney to protect and defend the Constitution. And it's like, so I I believe in all these things because, I obviously do.
I couldn't recite any of the amendments or the Constitution, frankly, but I could tell you
I can do the Second Amendment verbatim. I got that one. It's only like 27 words long. It's not that bad.
I can say honestly that I am absolutely a big fan of what our forefathers had in mind for our justice system.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in that dream. And so, I've come to learn, especially following the Karen Reed case, that defense attorneys and any type of attorneys really are doing God's work. And I hated lawyers before I started following the Karen Reed case. I hated lawyers. Now,
we're not so bad. What do we do?
Well, I had to pay you guys before for certain troubles in the past, and I just hated I hated the whole industry, but because it drained me. But I've come to like it. I've come to realize recently that my heroes are now lawyers, which is crazy.
I can be your hero, baby.
Yeah, man.
I can wash away the tear. You are everything. I'm here to help.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yes, I love it.
So the Karen Reed case obviously caught your attention, as it did mine. I followed, of course, the entire first trial and the entire second trial. And I followed all the like motion practice in between the two trials. And so, Karen Reed has definitely consumed a fair portion of my life recently, as I assume it does you. So I suppose it's worth asking, when did you get involved and what about it brought interest to your attention?
The investigation and how it was conducted is definitely what got my antennas up. And that was about a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago. Probably about a month maybe before I had first talked to Turtle Boy, and he got charged right after that. So about a month before Turtle Boy first got charged, I'd say is when I started following the Karen Reed case closely.
Yeah, I got involved or interested in it, I think maybe 2 or 3 months before the first trial, something like that. I think is when it sort of crossed my desk. And yeah, the investigation or lack thereof has been a total sham or
Yeah.
just completely deficient in so many ways. It's hard to believe that these guys consider themselves to be professionals. I mean, I said before, it's like I've read Hardy Boys and I've watched Scooby Doo. It's
Right.
like put me in charge of the investigation. It's like it can't possibly get any worse.
I'm more Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah,
than Hardy
there you
Boys.
go. Yeah.
So
Some of the girls
yeah,
who read the Babysitter Club series will be doing a half decent job at this point, I think.
yeah, somebody with my lack of education finding everything wrong with this case just simply by covering and following other cases, that should tell you that there was a lot wrong with this investigation.
It was just so sloppy in every
Right.
possible way. It's like, you have to, of course, extend some latitude because we're all humans and there's a human factor. And sometimes, to find a flaw in any case is like, we're human beings. But I mean, it's just so many things: the solo cups, the rakes, the leaf blowers, the lack of evidence logs. Like, who did you hand it to? I don't know. What did you do with it after? I don't know. It's like, what do you mean you don't know? How do you not know these things? How's there not like a, how's there not a record of transfer of custody so that you can have, a paper trail relating to custody?
The purpose of this is so that you can show them in court. You know what I mean? That's the entire purpose of this paperwork. That's the entire purpose of memorializing chain of custody, is so that when the day comes that it comes up in court, you have, hey, yeah, we transferred it here. This person signed for it. This person signed for it on this date, blah, 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 blah. And, this whole, I don't know, kind of attitude that everybody's got is a big red flag, and then, of course, there's the injuries on Boston police officer John O'Keefe. There's the text or the Google search from Jen McCabe at 2:27 a.m. And all
a
of
question
these things,
that remains unanswered to this day.
Nah, it's answered. She did it. I don't give
No,
a
I
shit
meant literally how long to die in cold.
Right.
No one's told me the answer to that question.
Yeah. I'm afraid to Google it, if I'm being honest. I guess, but maybe technically that's why I never have. But no, yeah, this case was something that really hit home with me when I started to really follow it. I started following it, and then and it was because somebody had told me about it, and they specifically said, you can't go by news articles. You have to read the documents.
There's that great effect, which I can never quite remember the name of, but it has a name on Wikipedia. that, like, in fact, when you're reading an article in a newspaper in a subject matter that you have expertise in, and you're reading the article and you realize how shit it is because you're an expert in the field and you're like, nothing makes sense. And then
There's
somehow we all, when we flip the page and we read a new article about a subject we don't have expertise, we don't have the same incredulity that we should have learned of from the first article. Rather than draw the conclusion it's all shit, we somehow like forget this lesson we learn. And this is a thing.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there was a name for that. That there's like a name
There is effect for it.
like
I think it's a hyphenated name. I can never quite remember what it's
that's
called.
fascinating. I would love to know what that is because I actually think about that a lot. Where I'm like, I don't, like I still end up relying on the news, even though I don't trust it. Like I still end up relying on it to provide me with information. It's crazy.
Yeah. No. And they're not great about it. And
No,
they get the details wrong.
right. Constantly. And look at the Karen Reed case. It's fascinating because I had when I first started following the Karen Reed case, people kept saying, you need to read Turtle Boy. You need to read Turtle Boy's article. You need to watch Turtle Boy. You need to talk to Turtle Boy. And I kept like telling people in my chat to shut up because I was like, listen, I'm learning this case because I approached this case very differently than any other case I've ever covered.
Mhm.
And the way that I approached this case was I did research on it, but instead of doing research behind the scenes, I did it live. So as I was learning about it, you were watching me learn about it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I
Yeah, I
made
like
that.
to do that too. Like I go into
Yeah.
cases. I know going to cases like relatively blind. So when the trial started in trial one, I knew some stuff, but I didn't certainly know as much as the Karen Reed people do, or those people who have been invested in it. Because I like to sort of learn about the case as the jury learns about. That was very true, for example, in Johnny Depp, where I basically knew nothing about the case prior to it starting. Not for at least the reasons that on a surface level from the headlines, I'm like, this lawsuit's not going to go anywhere. This is a waste of time. And so, as things developed, I was surprised by the turns of the evidence because it was like, wow, this there's actually something here, despite my many consternations to the contrary. I'm like, okay, wow. So that was an interesting experience for me in chat, and sometimes they were frustrated with me because I had the wrong opinion because I hadn't heard certain evidence yet. So they were frustrated with me at times.
Yeah. It was interesting because there were already so many people that were so invested in this case when I started talking about it. And they uh they were it was a cool way to develop a relationship with an audience in a way that I never have before because they were totally okay. They didn't expect me to know everything. They seemed to enjoy watching me learn and helping me with it. And going, okay, oh yeah, hold on, I'll send you that right now. I have it, blah blah blah. And my, I grew the best relationship with this audience than any other audience I've ever had. This covering this case and how important it is, considering how blatantly Karen Reed's rights were violated, how blatantly Turtle Boy's rights are being violated, and just finding, you know, us so many like-minded people finding each other through just being passionate about this has been truly probably the greatest blessings that I've ever experienced in my life, easily. It's great. And I remember I was talking about, I was looking into this, and people kept saying you need to talk to Turtle Boy, and I was like, I don't. He's the way that I saw it, he was a YouTuber, and I didn't want to learn about this case from another YouTuber. I wanted to learn it through the documents and then form my opinion. And as soon as I started to develop my opinion, that's when I started to go, all right, that's when I finally went, all right, I need to talk to Turtle Boy. And then I reached out to him, and Turtle Boy is always like, yeah, he'll go on any show. Anybody who's willing to listen to the truth, he's down. You know what I mean? So he jumped on my show. We talked, and it was great. And then, like maybe 2 days later, he got charged. And I was like, well, okay, now I'm really interested. Now I'm really interested. I need to know what's going on here. And so I dug really, I just dug my talons in this as you know, as firmly as I could ever since.
So I want to talk to you about any particular funny moments you have being recognized, and I'll tell you a story, then you can tell me one of yours. So this was probably 2 or 3 years ago now. So my channel probably had half as many subs, if not less. And I was visiting my brother and his wife in Charleston, South Carolina. And we had dinner that night, and our table wasn't ready yet. So we went to a different bar, like across the street, because we were there like 40 minutes earlier or something. And we were in this bar, and it was somewhat crowded because there was a band playing, on the in the background, and the shore was behind that. So there was a cool little show going on. And this random guy came up to me and said, "Are you on civil law?" I was like, "Yeah." And it turned out he was a 1L, and it's just starting law school, and he recognized me at this random bar in South Carolina. I was like, that was pretty bizarre, man, because it's like you're in this environment, just hanging out with your brother, you get recognized by a random 1L. It's like, what the hell? So do you have any fun stories like that?
No, not really. Every single time that I got recognized, well, actually, no. I actually did get recognized in my hometown once. Because now, I mean, people will say, "Oh, he's the only YouTuber who ever had Karen Reed on." But that's just, she just jumped on to say hi and say thank you to the supporters because of,
I'll take it, man. I
it
will take that and be
like
the only one exclusive interview with Karen Reed. You
But
better.
that's the thing, is I never interviewed her. She just jumped on, said hi.
I'm counting it. I'm counting it. They can quibble with me about the
Yeah.
technicalities later.
Right. But I after that fundraiser that I did, and I'll be doing another one soon for Turtle Boy. After that fundraiser that I did, I went to this little place right by where I live, is a little pizza shop, and they have a little bar where you could sit at, and I was having a beer, and I was just talking to people and whatever, just as you do in a small town in a little bar. And then I'm walking to the gym the next day, and this dude one of the guys that was at the bar, he just like has this red pickup truck, and he just fucking right in front of me, just like he's about to jump out and beat my ass. I was freaked out for a second. I was just
that's a lot. That's aggressive.
Yeah, it was really aggressive, but he didn't mean nothing by it, because he goes, "Hey man," he didn't even get out. He sticks his head out the window and goes, "Hey man, I saw you at the pizza place yesterday." He's like, "Hey, didn't you just have Karen Reed on your YouTube channel?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, I knew that was you." And I was like, "Wow, okay." And of course I was like, "Hey, listen, man, I was really it kind of freaked me out, because I like people not recognizing me here, So I was like, if you could just keep that to yourself, please."
If someone did something that aggressive to me, they'd be lucky if I didn't draw down on them.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, it was cool, because he was really nice. You know what I mean? And it was a really pleasant thing. It was just like, it still kind of freaked me out, because I was like, I please don't tell anybody. I don't need where I live to be public information just yet. I like living in a peaceful environment right now.
So I'm thinking, what happens if we ever do like a con together, like true crime panel? It's got to happen at some point. I'm going to be invited to some true crime panel as some sort of authority. So if we're on a panel together, what are we going to talk about, and how's that going to go? Podcasting and you, true crime and YouTube.
I mean, obviously cases,
old people.
Obviously cases that we've both each talked about. I'm fascinated because you were the only law tuber that covered canceled Karen's shit, Critical K. You covered her lawsuit, and you did so very, very well, by the way, if I must say.
Thank you.
If I could say so. It was great. Yeah, it's funny, I have a long history with her. I started on YouTube with her. She wanted like a male counterpart. We started off DMing about the Chris Watts case, and then she was like, I would love to have like a male, and then we started talking. She's like, you got a good voice and blah blah blah. Do you want to I would love to have a male counterpart to jump on my show and talk about this and that. And then, so I was like, yeah. So I did that. But I didn't know how big of a cunt she was at the time. And then she turned out to be. And yeah. So then we became pretty much rivals, kind of like Turtle Boy and Krusty Panties. Critical K was my Krusty Panties at the time. But I won. She lost. So here we are. But it was cool that you were covering her shit, because I was just like, I love hearing a lawyer talk about this, because the way that she dealt with this lawsuit was insane. She basically, for lack of a better term, lack of a better way of explaining it, she covered her ears and went, la, 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 you're not suing me, la, 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 la. And, just tried to ignore it, which is not what you do when you're being sued for what was it? $10 million?
Maybe you can explain the origin of this photograph, because that's pretty cool.
Okay, so that's obviously me, Karen Reed, and Annie Elise from 10 to Life and the podcast Serialously. Annie and I have been friends for a very, very long time. And so we started off talking about a case. It's funny, a case that you're probably familiar with, because Nick Rekieta talked about it, and that's how he came across. Nick Rackets, and he he talked about this case, but when it comes to Annie, we're not supposed to talk about that case. So, but that's how I became really good friends with her, and then she was the only person to actually share all of the information about the Karen Reed case and cover everything. And of course, behind the scenes, we were kind of talking about it, and I was sharing new information with her that as I got it, and vice versa. And so we arranged it, and we had never met in person. Actually, I've known her. We've been good friends for like 5 years, and we arranged it to where we would meet in Boston and sit in the courtroom and support Karen. And that's what we did.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So in the post Karen Reed, what are you getting up to these days?
I'm hyper focused on Aiden's case right now. That's what I'm going to be focused. I'm going to go over his charges all over again. I think it's probably going to be the next thing that I do when I go live. I'm going to go over his charges all over again. Because I feel like they're going to hit different after everything now. I went over them when they first happened, and now I feel like they're going to hit different considering everything that's happened since. I'm if you're at all passionate about your own freedom of speech, you should be passionate about Turtle Boy's case. What's happening to him is scary.
Yeah, we want obstruction or witness intimidation charges for waving at a window. That was the point where I'm like, that was the point where I'm like, we've gone to a full new level of ridiculous. What prosecutor took that and is like, yes, I am going to charge that?
Robert Cosgrove.
What was their thought process in that? Because I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I was shocked that happened. When that happened, okay, so obviously that's me in the video with him, and the video itself gives context to how ridiculous it is, because we were obviously just there to have fun, and we had people with us, and we were just trying to entertain them. We had a few drinks, and we thought it would be fun to just entertain our friends, and so that's what we did. We didn't know that there would be audio. And so, the next day, I'm sitting I'm attending court. And I specifically booked this trip because it was the first time that I had met Nan Gallagher in person. And so we were going to sit in court to support Karen. And the same day Aiden had a hearing. And so we were going to go half the day in Karen's hearing and then the other half of the day at Aiden's hearing. And so the next day after that night, when we were out drinking and that window intimidation, quote unquote, happened, I was sitting there at lunch with Mark Betterow, actually. Betterow went with us to Karen's hearing, and then he was there to represent Aiden in his hearing the next in that afternoon. And I'm sitting there at lunch with him, and first of all, you've never seen anyone eat clam chowder as fast as Mark Betterow. He was inhaling that shit. It was it's really funny. He was because we only had so much time because we had to be back. In his defense, it was like he was trying to eat, and we like he was stressing about the time. He was like, I don't know how we're going to go to lunch and be back there by 2, but whatever. So we're sitting there at what is that place? The Capitol Grill. And I'm like, I get a message from Dina. Dina says Aiden was charged. And I was like, what do you mean Aiden was charged? I was like, nah, that's bullshit. That's fake. Just ignore that.
It should be.
Right.
Your impulse was not wrong.
Right. And so,
because that's one of those times where I'm like, I say this sometimes. I'm like, there is no way that can possibly be true. And every once in a while, it turns out to be true. And then I look bad because I'm like, it can't possibly be correct.
Right.
There's no way that can be true.
Right. And so immediately,
I'm expecting to live in a quasi-rational world.
I'm blowing it off, but it's in my mind, you know, and immediately I turn to Mark because I'm sitting next to him and I'm like, I mean, what better person to discuss this with than his attorney, right? So I'm sitting next to his lawyer and I'm like, hey, you should probably know we did this last night. I mean, this happened last night and I just got a message saying that he was charged. And Mark is the coolest cucumber ever. And he's, you know, puts down his clam chowder and he picks up his phone. He's like, and he calls Aiden. And he's like, hey, I'm hearing rumors that you've been charged with something. And then hangs up, eats the rest of his food. Is like, we need to get back there.
I thought maybe we could watch this moment of witness intimidation happen before our eyes. Now, this may be shocking to viewers. So, you know, parental discretion advised and so forth and so on. But there he is talking to a window. Oh my God, he's making gestures at the window. Holy shit. Well, that really riles my bones. It roils the water.
Blast you. Unreal.
I will never recover.
Yeah.
The death penalty's too good for him.
And of course, I wasn't charged. So it was really weird because I immediately, you know, I'm realizing this is real, and
You're in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't tell you that this call may be recorded for quality.
No, no. I'm not in Massachusetts now. No.
Oh, good.
But I when that happened, so the next day, when after we hauled ass back from lunch back to the courthouse, you know, the look on Aiden's face was just pure, you know, terror, fear. I mean, because he's like, I can't believe they're throwing another charge at me over that. And of course, I'm like, you know, I ask him, do you think I'm going to get charged? And he was like, no. But I'm thinking already, I'm probably going to get charged.
You're in a
because-
conspiracy, obviously.
right? You know, I mean, if they're going to charge
Accessory
him
after
with
the
that,
fact, you probably helped him hide
Right.
his crimes.
if they're going to charge him with something that ridiculous, why wouldn't I not expect to get charged, right? So,
and I'm talking about it now, so that's got to be intimidation. I mean, everything else is.
well, I was worried because I mean, I got a dog and a cat back here, and I had arrangements for them. And I'm like, if I'm gonna get arrested and get booked, I've got to make some phone calls. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I even asked. And then they mention it in his hearing, at the end of his hearing, and they're talking about, and they refer to me as just, you know, a friend, quote unquote. They don't even mention my name.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just clear to me that they're doing everything they can to railroad this guy. They're doing everything they can to target him. Like, you know, if he had actually done something wrong and they thought that he had done something wrong, I would have been charged easily just as well. Why wouldn't I have been? You
Sure.
know? So it was just clear what they were looking for at the time. And I was, you know, I was ready to take the charge if I had to. I mean, I was sitting in the courthouse or in the courtroom when they're talking about this. I was expecting at any second for somebody to be like, sir, you need to stand up, you know, come with us. But nothing. It was like I was absolutely invisible in this situation, which is bizarre. And all it did really was just put me in a position where I was like, all right, I really need to like support Turtle Boy here. This is this is crazy. If anybody believes in their rights as an American, you should be infuriated about this.
Yeah, I hear the bald eagles cry, although it's actually a hawk, but never mind. Go. That's all right. Bald eagles are okay too. They're right. I should get a bald eagle. Maybe I can have a bald eagle friend. Yeah. I'm sure that will not create any problems with federal law, I'm sure. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about? I've been enjoying our conversation, hanging out. This is fun. We can just shoot the shit. We can talk about whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies, interests?
I right now, being incapacitated as I am at the moment, I'm watching a lot of movies. I'm rewatching, about to finish up Ray Donovan. And I'm really enjoying it. The last season, though, is going really slow, and I'm not enjoying it at all. It's a terrible season so far. But I really like that show up until what I'm watching now. But yeah, I went and saw Superman yesterday.
The new one?
Yeah.
I heard it was pretty shit.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. You know, like I don't get anyone who's like, oh God, it was terrible.
You know, the moment that they changed Superman from leaping tall buildings to actually full on flying was the moment the character went to shit.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I like seeing Superman fly, man. I liked it. I really, some of my fondest childhood memories are Christopher Reeve just, you know, flying, you know, when I was a little kid, and just, I love that shit. I love that shit.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I think, you know, how long for the recovery for your incapacity?
I have no idea. And it's getting old, and I'm starting to get worried. I might just have to break down and go to the doctor.
You haven't been to the doctor, man? Come on.
No.
Jesus, man. Take care of your health. God.
I don't like doctors.
But sometimes they help you and make you feel better and stuff.
Yeah, but
I see a doctor right now every month.
Doctors are drug dealers, man. They're just glorified drug dealers, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they have a license to deal me drugs, and they're the best. And then my pharmacist gives me the drugs. He's my best drug dealer. He gives me the drugs reliably, and he gives it to me for very cheap, and he dispenses them to me, and the drugs are great. They are what they purport to be, and nothing else.
If my
pharmacist is the best drug dealer ever.
If this was just a normal fracture, it should be already almost healed by now, and it's not. Now it might be because I can't stay off of it because I live alone, and so I have to get around and do stuff. So that might have an effect as to why it's not healing as quickly
Yeah,
as
that
it
could be a
should.
problem. Maybe it's some PT. You go see a goddamn doctor. Get yourself
But
the
I'm
drugs.
worried.
Put
I'm
the
worried.
drugs right in my veins. Here's what you do. You go to the doctor and say, "Give me drugs."
I'm worried that it might be beyond just a regular fracture, and I might need surgery, and I'm worried about that. So
Well, maybe you could get that information, and then you could deal with that problem if it actually turns out to be a reality instead of a mere fear.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I don't like it, but I'm gonna have to do it. I mean, I broke my wrist, and I didn't see a doctor. I did exactly what I knew they were gonna tell me to do, and it healed fine. I just I know you just keep it elevated and keep it immobile. That's it. And that's it. I don't need a doctor to tell me that, and I don't need
I
to pay
never
him
really
thousands
understood
of
this
dollars.
cliche that apparently men have about not wanting to go see the doctor. I see the doctor every time I have a problem. I'm like, I pay for this insurance out of my own pocket through the exchange at some expensive cost for a reason so that I can go see a doctor. And then I'm like, yes, I want to go see the doctor. Give me labs, give me doctor visit, give me drugs. I like the drugs. Give me more drugs. It's great. The doctor helps me. They give me things. So,
I'm not like, I don't like pills or medications. I like to have a drink once in a while, and I like my weed gummies, and that's it. That's as
I'm
far
not
as
telling
I
you
go.
not to like those things. I'm telling you to like other things.
But yeah, I don't need a doctor to make things better for me when 9 out of 10 times I can make them better for myself.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Well, you do you, I guess. I'm just going to keep seeing the doctor on the reg.
Right on. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I mean, it only cost me $30 a month visit. I see him every month. It's like for $30. It's like, yep, we're gonna have a conference time every month. Great.
Yeah, and I'm not telling anybody else to do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm call me ignorant and stupid. I don't give a shit, and I'm not telling anybody else to, go see your doctor, if you have to. Absolutely, please. Of course.
All right, cool.
I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm saying I think a certain way and I feel a certain way about these things, and that's how I usually live my life.
Fair enough. All right, you do you. All right. Well, in any case, I've enjoyed our conversation, and thanks for the chat.
Right on, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really grateful. It's nice
All right.
talking to you finally, Kurt.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, bud.
All right, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was the glare. We had a fun conversation. I hope you did too. Got a little serious there at the end, but I'm like, yeah, as I tried to tell him, it's like I never kind of understood this cliche where men are like, they don't want to see the doctor. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. It's like, I'm a macho man. I can take care of myself. It's like, what the fuck? This makes no sense to me. I don't get it. I was like, yes, I want to go see the doctor. I was like, I pay $400 a month for the insurance. And then seeing the doctor is only $30 a month. So I can see the doctor literally every single month for less than one payment of my insurance. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I want to go see the doctor. Shit, we're gonna have a fun time. We're gonna go to the doctor every single month just to check up and do routine labs and shit and check my blood pressure and other things. And then recently, for example, I had my doctor switch me because I was having blood pressure issues. And Vyvanse, which is one of the things I was taking before for depression, one of the side effects of Vyvanse is it can lead to higher blood pressure. And I was having elevated blood pressure problems. And my doctor was trying to treat that with blood pressure medication. And I was like, but my numbers were still kind of high. And so it's like, well, I don't really want to add more medication at this point, because I'm already on 2 blood pressure medications. I don't want to add more. This seems a little unnecessary. So it's like, let's solve this problem a different way, right? So we can solve this problem a different way. So I was like, okay, I want you to take me off Provigil, and I want you to put me on to modafinil, which is a drug for energy and alertness and being awake. Provigil, also called Provigil, And I want you to put me on a standard antidepressive. And so my doctor's like, okay. So she put me on 200 milligrams of Provigil and whatever antidepressive it is. I can't remember the name of it because I'm not sure it was one I'd ever heard of before. So it wasn't a name I had recognized. So they put me on some sort of antidepressive after telling me about why it would complement other drugs I was taking or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like I didn't half understand everything she said, but then again, I'm non-professional. I don't need to understand everything she says. But it's like, okay, she explained it to me at least to my satisfaction in the moment. I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. Let's do that. And so far so good. It seems to be working at least as well, if not maybe slightly better than what I was doing before. So seems to be effective. I've only been on it for like 2 or 3 weeks at this point, but so far so good. So, yeah. So it's like, I want to go see the doctor. Doctor's my friend. Doctor's good. Doctor makes uncivil healthier and happier and gives me drugs. And then my pharmacist also gives me drugs. I like the drugs. The drugs are great. More drugs. Num 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 num. So yeah, I don't really understand that sort of male cliche of I don't want to see the doctor. I'm a tough man. I can rest and recover on my own. It's like, bitch, they're a professional. Go see the goddamn doctor. Fuck. So yeah, I am pro team doctor. So it's like, yeah, all that's good stuff. Lord. Yeah. Yeah. And if he's uninsured, he can get it on the exchange, which is exactly what I do. I mean, my job as a streamer doesn't include insurance, so I have to pay for insurance myself, as I mentioned, through the exchange. And there are cheaper options, but still. Yeah. So whatever. It could take 5 months for total effect. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So far, so good. You feel like I've been cutting Will off so much? I don't know. That's always tricky in any conversation, as you want to maintain the dynamics. I honestly, for my money, I think you're wrong. I think if you go listen back to that interview, you'll find that I let him speak for long periods of time without interrupting him. I'm not saying I never interrupted him. If I felt like I had something to add in that moment, then I added something in the moment. But I think if you go back and watch it, you'll find that I had very long periods of just letting him speak. So I mean, at least for my money, that I handled the balance well. But everyone's a critic. Some people want more, some people want less. I just let the conversation kind of flow like I should, at least in my view. So hopefully he enjoyed it. And what else can you do? Yeah, I mean, I felt like the conversation flowed very well from my end. So hopefully he agreed. Yeah. Yeah, you obviously cannot please everyone. That much is obviously true. You know, and that's true in any conversation, especially as you add more and more people in the conversation. Who speaks and when in a conversation is tricky enough for two people, right? That sort of unspoken negotiation about who speaks and when. Yeah. And then you add a third person or a fourth person or a fifth person or a sixth person. Yeah. There's no way everyone's coming out of that conversation satisfied that they got to speak exactly when they wanted to and they weren't interrupted more than they wanted to be. It's like there's this negotiation is impossible. We all do our best. And there's no way that people watching the stream are going to be in universal agreement about you interrupted too much, you interrupted not enough. It's like, it's just not going to happen. But I was satisfied with it. And, so what can you do? That's also a challenge in improv because sometimes I want to interrupt them, to add something, but you're really not supposed to do that in improv comedy. So I got chastised yesterday. I got chastised because I interrupted one of my scene partners to add a little acknowledgement. And my coach was like, don't interrupt. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So, yeah. I had a good time at the gym. Had to cut it a little short because didn't leave myself enough time before the interview, but I still got 3 exercises done. I posted it. I still lifted like 11,000 total pounds, which is kind of roughly what I'm doing anyway. So wasn't too bad. But, hey, some exercise is better than no exercise. And the hack squat is a nice compounded movement. So if you're going to have 3 exercises, the hack squat's a good one. The other 2 being the standing calf press, and the other one was barbell curls that I did today. So not a bad little workout. Yeah. Am I in Texas? Yes. As you can tell from the subtle clues behind me. Yes, I am in Texas. Subtle clues. Correct. Adding muscles, I'm dropping fat. Hopefully somewhat. I just started taking creatine monohydrate by pill. I have the powder, but I can't remember to take it reliably. But I take pills, every day for supplements and stuff. So I was like, well, even though it's not as efficient and it's a little bit more expensive, pill it is, but it's still less than 50 cents a day. Well, slightly more than 50 cents a day. It's probably, that's 70 days at $40. Oh, no, so it is less than 50 cents a day. It's whatever 4 divided by 7 is. I think. Or no, it's 70 divided by 4. Yeah, I don't know which way the math goes. It's roughly 50 cents a day. So it's not so bad. Could be worse. How close was I to flooding? Not close at all. I'm on the wrong end of the state for that. Flooding was near San Antonio. I'm on the other, I'm basically 2.5 to 3 hours away. Don't take creatine. I am taking creatine. I am not asking for your permission. I am simply informing you. If you don't support that choice, I don't really care. Thank you for your input. I'm taking magnesium too. I'm taking magnesium and I'm taking fish oil. And I'm going to switch to Centrum Men's for a 1-a-day multi. I think. So, yeah. There's flooding north of Austin. Fair. How close was my place in Austin to flooding? I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I was on the 3rd floor, though, in my Austin apartment. So I probably wouldn't have been okay from any flooding because, that's a lot of flooding. So, yeah. Hack your watch? I might. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. No rush to do so. I'm thinking about it. I bought a anti-reflective tempered glass that I can put on top of the Homage because the other one, the Homage, is anti-reflective coating kind of sucks. So I bought a tempered thin piece of glass from Amazon that I can put on top of the sapphire crystal. So I get the more anti-reflective coating. I'm going to see how that looks and compares to the real thing. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I probably am not going to decide for quite some time. There's no rush. I feel like, I can get the same value out of the watch I bought for what I paid for it. So I don't feel like there's any rush for me to make a decision because there's no ticking clock. I should be able to get roughly what I paid for it out of it when I sell it. So 6 months from now or a year from now. So it doesn't really make a difference. So there's no real immediate incentive to sell because it's going to hold the value I paid for it. It already took its depreciation, from the previous owner. So there's really not much more depreciation to be had. So it should be fine. The audio fuzz is back. Okay, that's exciting news. Great to know. You like the watch? I like the watch too. I like the look of the watch a lot. Static, I can't fix it. If there's static, I can't fix it. There's nothing I can do about it. I guess I'm going to sign off for now. All right. I've been Uncivil Law. Thanks for everything. Till later. Goodbye.